Hello, hello, hello. Welcome one and all. This is Drawing Expressions, live streaming here on YouTube. I'm Parz, and it's good to see y'all. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Got my tea, got my coffee. We're gonna do some creative writing. We're gonna discuss some stuff, but we're gonna get all into that in just a minute. First, sip. Okay, good. Alicia, my lovely lady love, is on chat, so please do reach out, say hi, and let us know you're out there. And that applies to anyone who's catching this on the replay as well. So do say hi in the comments. It's always good to see that people are out there, people are watching and enjoying, and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, and before I move on, it feels now, just like with 2025 and everything that it's been handing us, that I'm just going to start, I think, every week with just, this is a stress-free place to kind of hang out. Whether you've got stresses in your household or you've got stresses internationally or anything in between, just come on over and hang out for however long we're on for, upwards of an hour or so. And yeah, be a little bit creative. Or just listen. Turn your brain off. And we're going to talk about that. But we're going to get there in a minute. Okay. Excuse me. So, before we really dive into the meat and potatoes of the live stream, let's just kind of review the things that I like to review. First off, guidelines. We are the house of guidelines over here because rules, they break. We're not big fans of rules, but guidelines we love because they give exceptions. They give us room to maneuver. The class structure, of course, it honors both the planners and the pantsers. The planning section today, we're going to be doing a little bit of a show and tell of some work that I had published, and then we're going to move into doing an observational exercise. So it's all kind of part and parcel, and I'll talk our way through it. So hopefully it'll make sense as to what we're doing and why. And you'll find it enlightening and educational and all that kind of good stuff, hopefully. The pantser section, we're going to start with a quote from Georgia O'Keeffe, and then we will move on from there. But it's going to get into the joy of doing nothing. So we will get there when we get there. Okay. So for right now, to get our minds and our bodies ready to do some creative type stuff, I'm going to invite you to take a nice deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, and breath in. Stretch a little, not too much. Don't want to hurt anything while we're stretching. Shake it out a little bit. Here we go. Good. Always gives my body just a little bit of a oxygen tingle when we do that. Feels good. And it gets me thinking about writing, and that's a wonderful thing as well. Okay, let us start over here. Okay, so for the planner section, yes, so we're going to be talking about an observational tool. So I've talked in the past about my creative process, and it loosely goes into 3 buckets. You've got the observation, you've got the scribing, and you've got the editing. Okay, and something that is, I think, very helpful for the observing part of the process is learning how to observe and practicing observing. That's something I think that of anything that kind of is sort of talked about or out there about creative processes and writing, not exclusive to writing, because it can be like really anything, where it's the observing, where you're working with your idea or ideas and how they're all forming up together. And I find that using haiku is a wonderful way to sort of sharpen those observational skills. Okay, so now that we've sort of led into the observation piece, I would like to sort of run you through a little bit of a something that I experienced with haiku and doing observation and whatnot. So it started with being notified by one of our DX founders, Carissa. She reached out and said, hey, did you know that there's this magazine that's called 80 Degrees, and it is a fine tea, very niche tea magazine. They're looking for submissions. They're calling for submissions, and they're looking for haiku. So I reached out to 80 Degrees and found out what it was that they were looking for. So basically they said, send us your favorite haiku. And I had done a haiku live stream and knew that you can just look up all sorts of haiku. They're out there on the internet. You just search, you can grab, you can put them in. So there's a tremendous availability of haiku already. And so why not provide something maybe original? And quite frankly, the favorite haiku that are out there of mine are mine. I really like the haiku that I write. So I said, well, what if I write haiku in the way that I write haiku and submit it in and see what happens? And it's going to be on the theme of tea, of course. And it's not just going to be any type of general tea, not Lipton or whatever, right? It's going to be like, we're going to try and really capture and encapsulate what I know about fine tea, which is not a lot. So I had to get smart. Number one, look up a couple of articles and find out about tea leaves and how harvesting goes and what all goes into tea. And then began to observe the ideas. And then I observed, scribed, did some edit, and then submitted that in. And they published it. So this is the magazine. They were kind enough to send me a copy. I think this is issue 13. Yes, there's a 13 right there. And the article, it starts with a really nice article here. Let's see, I'll get it in camera. The Art of Haiku. And it's by Anna K. Cottrell. And there's some illustrations here as well by Bruno Algarve. And they talk about haiku. And then they get into into the article about the tea experience and this one particular Japanese haiku master who has written on the tea experience within his haiku. And then they went and they published mine as a example. Whoops, here we go. Anyway, yep. So I will give you a quick read as to what I sent them. So it is titled One Comprehensive Haiku. So hibiscus grows near a freshwater hot spring, convenient tea prep. Sun and rain nurture, fragrant leaves, flowers bloom in hot water. As the sun looks down, does it crave just a sip of Darjeeling? Tea bushes know their leaves' prospects diminish with time. Approach the tea bush gently with loving thoughts. Plants have feelings too. Compost used tea leaves. Your plants will thank you. Secondary use. Change is constant. One can't sip the same tea twice. Heraclitus-esque. This tea, it suits me to It's perfect. And that is what they published. So talking about what they published real quick. So haiku typically is thought of as encapsulating a sort of a large amount of feeling or space or experience and condensing it down into something that is very simple and yet very profound, right? And that's the way that it's often portrayed. I find haiku to be very useful to capture bits and pieces of an experience or an image or a prompt. And then we can use haiku language to approach the topic in a number of different ways, right? And which is what the magazine published and what we're going to be working on today with an image that my lovely lady love pulled up for us. And I like it. So how about we just sort of jump right in and let me show you the prompt. There he is. There he is. So this is the image that we're going to work with, right? So we're not going to go for anything quite so global as tea. And instead, we're going to use the art of haiku to approach this particular image prompt in a number of different ways. And so give it a look. And I'm going to keep keep it up here for just a minute or two. And what I'm going to encourage you to do, excuse me, is to make some notes about what you are seeing, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing as you look at this image. And I'm going to be silent for a minute or two, and I'll let you scribe a couple of things down. And then after my little coffee break and you've written some stuff down, I'm going to go through a few things that I'm seeing. And then I'm going to write some haiku based on it. So I'm going to encourage you, as you come up with your things, think about how that might work into like a haiku, right? We don't have to shoehorn anything in though. Just noticing what's here. This is the important part. Noticing what is here. And then having the possibility of writing something about it, okay? Because I will come up with a whole bunch of ideas and images, and haiku won't necessarily work for all of them, but it's something just to play with, to try. Okay, so let's give a good look to our little friend and his leaf, and I'm going to take a sip, and I'll be with you here in just a minute. Okay. All right. So I don't know if that was a minute or two or whatever, but it gives you something to start to think about, to work with. And 1 second. For some reason, my chat. Okay, so the question I got from Alicia is this image going to be up the entire time? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to just show you the what I intend to use to work with here. So I'm going to have the image on the side, and then my notes, whoops, over here, and this is where I'm going to write, and I'll have the image up. Now, if you would like a bigger image, I'm going to bring it back to here, take a screenshot. So yeah, the image will always be there. It just may not be in the large detail that you would like. Okay. All right. So I am going to call up a new page, and I'm realizing I didn't prep before I did this. So just 1 second. There we go. And There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna bring my writing tool over. So before I start writing, I'm gonna just start to make some observations myself about what we're seeing. So the first thing that I find to be helpful in this haiku observing exercise is to try and get an overall feel for what I'm seeing. It doesn't have to capture everything, but it just gives me a starting point. Because it's hard to, or at least I find it difficult, to work with detailed haiku without first kind of trying to capture the entire image. That's sort of, it gives me like a little bit of an entry point, a little bit of a, you know, I'm starting to work my way in. So that is like the start. So like an overall view of the image, and it doesn't have to just simply be, you know, green caterpillar crawls on brown leaf. And we can have some fun, we can have some creativity, we can have some interpretation as to what we're seeing, but we just do want to capture sort of an overall picture of what we're seeing. And then after that, then I find the details start to come into more focus, where I can highlight certain aspects of the image, of the prompt, or within like the T thing, I can highlight certain aspects of the tea processing, right? I didn't really feel I could talk about the tea leaf without first talking about tea brewing. And when I talked about tea brewing, it was at a natural hot spring with fresh water, right? So it was playful, but it still kind of encapsulated the whole, we're going to talk about tea brewing. Okay, so here we're going to talk about this caterpillar and its leaf. Okay, so that is going to be the first thing. So I am going to actually, I'm going to talk it out loud, and then I'll start making notes in a minute. So as I look at the image, there are some things that sort of jump out. So one thing that jumps out for me is the color contrast. So the leaf, for instance, is very, well, to my eye, brown. The artists amongst you may say this is a, you know, ochre, whatever, and I don't know, brown. Hi. I've got a cat just right there. So if you start hearing squeaks, that's what it. Hi. Yeah. You just want to interrupt in. Okay. Yeah, this is live. So whenever any of my 5 cats decides they want to be part of the show, they're part of the show. Okay. We will see if she will go away. All right. So we're going to have some of the details come out. So the contrast between the colors. So we've got the brown, we've got the green, and sort of the yellow of the grasshopper. There's the fabric, which has little bits and pieces of color woven in, right? There's the green of the background. So all of these things we can sort of highlight those. Have to make way for my tiny little cat. There you go. Okay. Yes, that's Suki, by the way. So we have the colors. We also have textures, right? So there's the textures of the leaf. There's the textures of the grasshopper, the little antenna, the textures of the fabric. We have the antenna of the caterpillar itself, which it's, you know, quite upright. Can we do something with that? We can play with something like, you know, was this all staged? Is this real? Is this Memorex? You know, kind of dating myself back to the era of cassette tapes. Is that little grasshopper, is it a robot? Is it an AI image? It's not an AI image. I know, because we grabbed it from an AI free place. But you know, we can make mention of it. We have the little guy looks very personable in a way, right? I mean, almost looks like you could be sitting down to like have a chat. Does it have a name? Does it have a history? Does it have a family? Why is it playing with the leaf, right? These are all aspects that we can look at. Is it a pet? Is it whining for food? Sorry, that was inspired by my cat. Is it looking for food? Is it looking for furniture? Is this leaf perhaps decorative? Don't know. So these are different things that we can focus on. Okay, so now I'm gonna come over to here. Yeah, so I'm gonna start making some notes down and where we're gonna go. So first off, we have sort of the overall look. And with that overall look, to my eye, the grasshopper looks curious. Maybe it's just like, what is this leaf? You know, what's, and I can sort of look and wonder, what are you looking at? Right? So we can have like, it's curious and I'm curious, as it's like we have like this curious theme thing going on, is it's exploring, I'm exploring. There's a parallel here, so we can play with that. So how about if we try something like I watch and wonder. I watch and wonder, 5 syllables. Haiku, 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. So 3 lines, 5, 7, 5. And you don't have to specifically use 3 lines, and you don't specifically have to use 5, 7, 5. That's just the guideline that sort of defines what a haiku is. It's a guideline, so we can play with it as much as we like. But really, you just want to kind of capture this, the feeling of haiku, right? And the feeling of haiku, an easy way to do it is sort of follow the rules at first, or follow the supposed guideline, and then break the rules, break the guidelines. Got to stop using the word rules, because that should be a guideline. Don't use the word rules. Okay, so I watch and wonder. At an insect, let's see now, I did make some notes here. At an insect's, oh yes, insect's wonderment. At an insect's wonderment, 7. We're both, whoops, both curious. We're, whoops, not were. We're both curious. Okay. I watch and wonder at an insect's wonderment. We're both curious. Haven't mentioned the type of insect, haven't mentioned what it's curious about. It's just sort of just an encapsulating type of thing. This one is going to be very much helped by the presence of the photo. But it doesn't have to be there, right? Because it can always be open to interpretation as well. Okay, so that is that. So let's maybe work on, I mentioned one idea was, what is the purpose of that leaf to our grasshopper? And so what if we tried something like this? Leafy wall hanging, or free standing sculpture, upcycling. Oops, upcycling. thought upcycling would be one word. Maybe not. Okay. There we go. So this talks about the leaf and maybe why the grasshopper is curious. Leafy wall hanging or freestanding sculpture, upcycling, right? And so we can talk about even like a little bit of a, excuse me, 1 second. You don't need to get in there. Our little Suksuk has discovered how to open drawers, including the art drawers that are right down here. Yay. Okay. What else can we write about? I'm glad I made notes, because with her yowling at me, it's a lot easier to hear myself as I've got the notes right here. So this is something else to kind of keep in mind too. If you're in a place where it's hard to do a lot of creative thinking and writing when you've got like a busy type of environment, or it's hard to think, take it in smaller steps, right? Write down your ideas first as to what I want to focus on, and then start to turn those ideas into more encapsulated form, like a haiku. Okay, just an idea, because it's working for me in this moment. Okay, I want to, let's see, I had one idea, which was I want to highlight the textures of the leaf. I am gonna just call up the big real quick, because it's, I mean, look at that texture. Look at the veining. That's just amazing, right? All of that structure. And inside that structure, when it's green, right, there's all that chlorophyll, which is the living bit. Let's see now here. So the, we want to maybe talk about that. Okay, so I'm just going to call this back. So I'm going to have plant skeleton, because that is in essence what it is. Plant skeleton. And what is our grasshopper going to do with the plant skeleton? Maybe it feels like it can help save, bring it back to life. Grasshopper CP, not CPA, CPR. And let's see now here. Oh yeah, futile endeavor. Endeavor. What do you not like about endeavor? There we go. Okay, so now we can talk about, right? It's a little bit of a biology reference, and we can have fun with it. Like, what's the grasshopper trying to do with that dead leaf? Something else that I had made note of already, and this was the antennae, because I mean they're up and they're erect and they're looking like very alert, right? And what if that is the grasshopper equivalent to like human eyebrows? And it's not really, but what if it were? And we could maybe have some fun with the fact that people draw in their eyebrows to make them look a certain way. So let's maybe look at doing something like this. Frank seems surprised. So now we've named the grasshopper as well. Frank, why not? Frank seems surprised. Upraised insect eyebrows. Upraised insect eyebrows. And actually, insect, I can go insectoid, upraised insectoid eyebrows. And why don't you like insectoid? insectoid. Okay, I'm gonna leave it, and whatever it is that's wrong about spell check, I will not deal with it for right now. And here we go. The last bit where we're referring to the people. People have this tendency to draw them in, or simply drawn on, or simply drawn on. Okay. So now we've played with a couple of different observations, right? Naming our insect and talking about the antenna, and having this relationship between what, so like, do we sort of personify this bit of the grasshopper? Okay, so that is the notes that I had made. Now, I do want to share Alicia's, her opening haiku. She sent it to me on private chat. So, reservations made, sun-dried leaf picnic lunch, get it while it's hot. Well done. I love it. That is excellent. And really, yeah, you got the spirit of the fun. You got the spirit of the encapsulation. You got it. That's awesome. So, yeah, as you come up with your haiku, share it in chat. Share it in the comments. I do look forward to seeing what it is that you've come up with. Do I want to try any other of the ideas? And I think the answer is no. The cat has thrown me off enough that I like what I've written here, and I don't want to try and force anything more beyond what I've already noted. So we're just going to leave it there. But I think it's a great start to doing a haiku observation. I'm going to bring up the prompt one last time. So again, we can explore that as deeply as you want, and yeah, have fun with it. Have fun with it. Okay, awesome. So, oh, I didn't mean to come here. I meant to go there, because it is time to breathe and stretch. Let's take a nice deep breath in and stretch. Good. Awesome. So that is the basic idea behind doing our observation exercise, right? And yeah, give it a try. Give it a try. I find it very helpful to capture ideas and whatnot, and so hopefully you will as well. So with that said, let us now move on to Pantser time. And I'm going to call up my notes real quick. Here we go. And as I said, we're going to start off with a quote. And this is, again, from Georgia O'Keeffe. Now, Georgia O'Keeffe, before I give you the quote, she was a prolific painter. I think she was active for like 70 years or so. And she died in the 1980s. I think she lived about 100 years or so. So she was born in the late 1800s, 1880s, 1890s, something like that. So this woman was no slouch when it came to painting, and I believe she did drafting as well, draftsmanship. So the quote that comes up seems maybe even a little bit odd in our busy, hectic, day-to-day lives that we experience now. And it goes like this: I have done nothing all summer but wait for myself to be myself again. Wow. I have done nothing all summer but wait for myself to be myself again. And I love this quote. Consider, I talk about my ideas for my creative process. Observe, scribe, edit. So what comes before observe? You. You have to observe, and you have to scribe, and you have to edit. You need to be there. You need to engage. You need to be present. And what if you simply ain't feeling like you? And let me tell you something, in this household, boy, that's been the case for a while. It's been a tough 2025 so far. And 2024 was no picnic. So I have been learning, and very much learning the benefit of doing nothing and waiting for myself to be myself again. And the reason why I bring this up today in particular, because I just ran into a article, and it's in one of my favorite periodicals that I grab my news from, Psychology Today. Why doing nothing is doing something good for yourself. So I'm just gonna come over here to the share screen. So there we go. There's Psychology Today. Why doing nothing is doing something good for yourself. We can't be productive 24/7. We need time to rest and do nothing. Okay, so what is it that it's talking about? And basically, it's when you have in any given time period, right, where there is a lot of stuff going on with health issues inside your household, with disturbing international news, with all those things in between, it can be distracting. It can be very difficult. It can knock you off your center, right? You can feel like you're just not really there. And you need to, or you feel the need to maybe just feel like yourself. And in the way that the world works more nowadays, it is more and more difficult to find that time and to not run into a whole lot of people telling you, or even you feeling yourself, that rest equates to laziness. It equates to unnecessary luxury. It equates to things that are just, there is an old quote, I'll sleep when I'm dead, is one of those old ones. And it really speaks to how, everything is trying to move forward and trying to be productive and trying. So like, even when you're not feeling productive, be productive, but in a different way. And then if this isn't working for you, then do something else and do. And it's all about the doing. And here, this article, Georgia O'Keeffe, and my own feelings is do nothing. Doing nothing is sometimes and oftentimes the best thing you could be doing for yourself. Nothing. So one of the ways that I view my relationship to myself, right? My mind, the whole mind space, right? It gets a little bit hard to sort of define what it is that I'm talking about, but let's just say that we have like the mind. And within the mind, there's all of this amazing stuff that's going on, right? We're taking in information all the time, all the sensory information, the thoughts and the thinking and the associations and all of this stuff. And there's bazillions of little bits of information that are coming into this universe all the time. Think about that as like a dark room. And by dark, I mean like no light whatsoever. Okay? And there's all this stuff that's going on. We're not aware of it. So what are we aware of? Well, what we're not aware of is the subconscious mind. It's all working in the background, in the dark. We're not aware of it. We are aware of what we can focus on and concentrate on in our conscious minds at any given time. And I liken it to sort of like a little dude who's down in there with a flashlight. And they kind of catch little bits and pieces of stuff here and there. And there's places that we are more familiar and happier to go, and places that we definitely don't want to go, and all the places in between, right? And so it's just like this poor little pathetic guy with a flashlight trying to catch some sense of us as to what's going on. And we catch little bits and pieces. And it's been shown that the conscious mind works fantastically slowly. It is not a fast process, the conscious mind. It works really, really slow, especially compared to how fast the subconscious mind works. So we are aware of very, very little. So when there's stuff that's going on in our subconscious, and again, the news of the day, and holding space for a sick loved one, and all the cares and the concerns and all the things that are going on, and the things that are coming through our smartphones, and is there all the stuff that's going on social media, and what's happening with my favorite stars, public figures. What are all they doing? And we've got all this stuff that's going on. And the more and more and more stuff that's going on, well, we're not really paying attention to it, but it's there, and our subconscious mind knows it's there. So sometimes that poor little guy with a little flashlight just needs to turn that light off and just take a break. Just relax. Because the whole idea of trying to be more productive means that you're trying to have more flashlights, and you're trying to catch more stuff, and you're trying to be aware of more things, even when you're tired, even when you're just not yourself. So take that time. Take that time for yourself, and realize that when you take that time for yourself, you take that rest, you take that opportunity, stuff's still going on in the background. You don't have to pay attention to all the stuff that's going on in the background. You can just let it go. Just, read a book, watch a video, watch TV, play a game, all this stuff. Just turn your mind off. Take a summer to do it. Apparently it worked for Georgia O'Keeffe. So that is what I had in mind. Let's see. I'm just going to check my notes. Okay. Doing nothing, how to embrace doing nothing. And really, the end result has to be, you have to be comfortable doing nothing. That is where, after you've turned off that flashlight and you're just going to let the world go by for a while without a care, be comfortable in that space. Nice deep breath, take your time, breathe, find yourself again, or let yourself come back to where yourself is. And that is really all I was trying to get across with the joy of doing nothing. And so I think that pretty much covers everything that I was trying to talk about in all of this. So the joy of doing nothing, and the use of haiku as an observational tool, as an observational exercise. And yeah, that's it. So let's start to wrap things up. Where'd my thing go? Here it is. So we have our drawingXpressions haiku. So this is a creative space, holistically supportive. Please like, share, and subscribe. You know that. So please like, share, and subscribe. If you do put your stuff out on social media, please do use the hashtag that's up on the screen, DX Live with Parz. I do check Facebook. I do check Instagram from time to time. It's not an everyday thing. So if you have posted stuff and I haven't responded to it yet, I will find it. just maybe not today. And with that, first, a sip of coffee. With that, I'm going to thank you so much for being a part of the live stream today, or listening to it on replay. And I look forward to seeing you next time. So until then, keep yourself sane and be comfortable doing some nothing in the upcoming week. Okay, bye for now.